Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Ashton, and in this video I'm going to be talking about humanity versus the apocalypse. Ultimately, climate change is the beginning of the apocalypse, and climate change is because of us and what we're doing here. So I'm going to explain the cause of climate change, some of the effects of climate change, and what we can do to circumvent it. Now, my old rant is this. Climate change is 100% real, but it's not because of our emissions. It's because we're taking it out of the ground. The lower you go into the Earth's core, the higher the pressure, the more energy there is, and the hotter it is. So you take fossil fuels from the upper layers, and the high pressure escapes, heat escapes, goes to the cold, and energy repels from energy. So essentially, it repels and is escaped. And the energy is also the lava, the increase of lava, which is the pressure is required to keep down there. So you're essentially losing that bit of electromagnetic energy. Another example of this is in 2016, there was something called the LA methane gas leak. And what happened was they were doing some drilling down there and they hit this huge pocket of gas. So the gas, that pocket was ruptured, the gas leaked out into the atmosphere, and that chamber was filled up with lava. And because the Earth's core is a huge producer of electricity, energy, which is ultimately gravity, okay? So now the energy from the Earth's core is conducts so much better through the pocket of lava that used to be that gas. So the gas was kind of more neutral, but it travels through that now that lava better, and that is connected to the entire west coast. So you got all this extra energy that's flowing through the entire mountain range, because where that pocket was is connected to the entire mountain range, creating a whole bunch of electric energy there. So the temperatures are raised, thereby there's been a whole bunch of forest fires since then. That's just one example. So if we continue down this path of taking out the gases, we will see even more fires and whatnot. At the same time, we're losing that energy at the Earth's core, and we're losing vertical atmosphere because we're actually losing gravity. So the energy, the electromagnetosphere, is actually shrinking, and so the sky's falling. It's just falling away from the planet. Our atmosphere is shrinking as a result. At the same time, all the gases and all the oil create that pressure holding down a whole bunch of energy at the Earth's core, and so that the Earth's core, the reaction there comes closer to the surface. So because it comes closer to the surface, it's actually pulling in. It's what creates vortexes and whatnot, which we see as hurricanes. So the frequency and severity of hurricanes is going to be much more. We're going to see it. At the same time, when you have all that energy pushing all that really volatile mass down there, which is the Earth's core, it still has two poles, and the poles are very strong. They're the northern and southern polar vortex. So that is actually spreading and coming apart. So that's why there's a breakdown of the north and southern polar vortex at the same time. So those vortexes, the energy moves around, part to do with the frequency and the change in locations. At the same time, it also is related to the northern lights. The northern lights are migrating at the same time. So that's again because of fossil fuel extraction. So I got a list here of other things to cover. Bear with me, please. So again, that the loss of pressure also kind of creates rupture, so the energized mass will come up more. That we see that increase in volcanoes. So you got a bunch of holes where it used to be. So more volcanoes can and are occurring. At the same time, we have something called the Large Hadron Collider, which is a super large electromagnet that's underneath the Earth's crust, and that thing puts off a whole bunch of energy, and that energy actually goes down to the core of the planet. And so because the Earth's core is essentially a whole bunch of energy, when you energize a mass that's already got a bunch of energy, the electromagnetic field grows, creates it more volatile. There's an also increase in volcanic activity, which we saw last year. The La Palma volcanoes occurred at the same time CERN was running at a high energy. What else do we got here? Breakdown of the polar vortexes. Now, our electromagnetosphere is changing. Like I mentioned, the energy from the Earth's core is coming closer to the surface, and the gases and oils work as an insulation barrier. So essentially, our electromagnetosphere, our atmosphere on the surface of the planet, is changing as a result. That affects human health. It affects our brain functions. We're going to become more volatile. It affects our reproductive systems and even our immune system. So we may be becoming more weaker to the common cold, common flu, this kind of thing. That's going to happen as a result as well. It goes even beyond what I'm explaining here. Uh, the solar system works through, sorry about the lighting, through attraction and repulsion. The energy at the Earth's core, for example, will pull other objects to it. And the sun works in the same way, where the sun's electromagnetism, which is gravity, will hold all the planets close to it, and that energy also creates a repelling effect. So the planets will both be attracted to each other and repelling each other at the same time, because it's repelling from the closest, from the energy sources themselves. And it creates like an electromagnetosphere as well, layers of it. So those layers change as well at the same time, the breakdown. So the attraction and repulsion effects are changing. And then because they're essentially connected, the Earth and the sun, we're affecting the sun's electromagnetism, and the sun's connected to all the planets as well. So the sun's connected to, say, Jupiter. The red eye has changed. We've actually noted the changes. The red dot has actually like kind of increased. It seems like it's shrunk, but it's actually like increased. So the sun is, its electromagnetic connection to Jupiter has picked up because it has less to us. And at the same time, the sun is dimming because our electromagnetic connection to the sun has been weakened. And it's even further weakened because we have less atmosphere and other reasons as well, which I'm kind of explaining. But we have a bunch of satellites there. So those satellites use electromagnetism and whatnot, and they're conductive to the planet as well. So the Earth's connections to those satellites also weaken the connection between us and the sun. So and the sun is actually powered through our gases. Like it gets gases from the Earth through gravity, electromagnetism, and it's those gases on the sun that actually light up. Yeah, in a larger solar system, you could argue that the sun would, like, because the sun would keep its attraction, and the Earth would then, its repulsion from it would become weaker, so the sun's attraction would overcome the Earth's repulsion from it, so thereby pulling a planet into the sun, creating a supernova. Yeah, so that's just some of the things in this conversation. But ultimately, climate change, which is the beginning of the apocalypse, is caused by fossil fuel extraction, which is caused by us. So we can change our systems and stop this from happening. We can create better forms of energy production, and that's very possible. It's actually right around the corner. They used to say that fusion energy technology was 20, 25 years away. That's until somebody came along, and now it's right around the corner. We can also put things together like the Great Reset, the Green New Deal, reconciliation, and most of all, creating peace among us and put those together to create better systems that we need to do to change ultimately what is a destructive economy and conflict between nations and peoples, so that we can take this challenge on, which is a threat to every person and every nation in the world. And it's up to us to rise up to this challenge and do that. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.